Hello. Hello, welcome, welcome. Good afternoon. It is Friday, the 5th of April. I hope you're having a great April. Welcome to today's show. I am so glad that you're here. So I'm going to give it a second for everybody to get together and get here. It is 2 o'clock on Friday. So I'm really excited about today's Facebook Live. I'm sorry, I'm just doing a new setup. And I was trying to get the lighting right, and then my bulb blew. So if it's a little dark or red or something, I apologize. Oh, you know what? This might help. No, that's just going to kill my battery probably. But, welcome if you're here. Thank you for coming. I am really excited about today's Facebook Live. Let's see if this helps any. A little bit. So I'm blind, so that's not good for me. Today we are going to talk about, let me just close it. We're going to talk about happiness, joy, and contentment. So my name is Gina Badavity, and I am a freelance writer and a researcher with a couple of different companies, and I am the owner of embracingimperfect.com. So my website and my mission in life is to help moms who are raising kids with special needs and special challenges, like kids with severe autism. And I try to help families thrive. And so today we are going to be talking about a really important part of thriving is happiness, contentment, and joy, all the difference between all three of those, and what they are. And then after that, I'm going to do a really quick book review. So welcome to today's show. And while we're on the topic of thriving, I just want to share this little story that I had. I was at, I go to a ladies' Bible study on Tuesday, and I was at Bible study the other day, and a lady came up to me and said, "Oh, how are you doing?" And out of my mouth, it wasn't even my answer. I swear to God, it was God took over my tongue and said, how is she? How are you? How are your family? And I said, "We're thriving." And as soon as I said it, I was like, where did that come from? So I had to immediately thank God for putting those words in my mouth. And because I hadn't kind of realized, and when I say that we're thriving, it doesn't mean that I have resolved a lot of issues for the girls. I have just about the protocol that I've probably been talking about for 4 months. I finally have everything in place, and I'm just going to organize it for Amelia. I just signed up and ordered CBD oil from HempWorks. I got a big shipment of that coming. I'm excited about starting that for Zoe. A couple other things strategies that I'm thinking about working on her to change. So my kids are still having a lot of issues that we need to deal with. However, I have a lot of good things in life too. I am almost at my 300, hopefully by the end of the month. I will have my 300th gym visit. I am doing really well in the special class I'm taking. I'm learning to do chin-ups, and I'm getting really fit over this last year and a half. I have a job that I really like. My husband has a really stable job that is working out really well for him. And side work that's coming in, a company that wanted me to work for them that I love, that I have just something I love better right now. So a lot of work coming in, a lot of good stuff going on. But again, it's in the midst of the bad stuff. Some other things that I could complain about. So I wanted to talk about happiness, joy, and contentment. And before I start really digging into this subject, I just wanted to let you know that this is not, my advice here is not for anyone with mental health issues. So if you have any kind of clinical disorder, clinical depression, prolonged grief, postpartum depression, suicidal ideation, any serious mental health issues, that is not the topic for today. If you do have serious mental health issues, please get help. Talk to your doctor, talk to a therapist, talk to a counselor, talk to someone at your church or your place of worship to get help. There's lots of things you can do to get help, including you don't necessarily need to go right on medication, but that is, I do recognize that that's required for some people. So I'm not talking about any of those people. I am talking to the average person who wants to have more happiness or joy or contentment in your life. So let's talk about these three things and what they are. So I'm going to start with joy. So for those of you who are Christians, you know that joy it's really kind of like a gift from God, but it's also something you have. It's as a Christian, you have joy as a birthright, because you know that at the end of the story, at the end of your life, you're going to be with God and eternally, and so you're going to have eternal bliss. You might have a horrible death, though, and you might have a lot of things to suffer through in life. So that joy is a gift for believers, but joy and really joy is a condition of the heart and mind. Joy is not temporary. You can have joy in any situation. Joy it's an inner state, and you get joy by knowing that things are going to work out. So for me personally, my joy comes from my faith. Knowing that the God of the universe loves me enough to save me, to send his son to die for me, and to forgive me and unconditionally love me, to me, that is perfect joy. So that is a condition of the heart. And it's something that I'm very grateful for. But joy is not the same as happiness, and that is not the same as contentment. Those are three different things. And contentment is the next thing that I want to talk about. Now, contentment is not necessarily temporary. You can be content in whatever situation you are. In the New Testament, Paul says that whether I'm based or abounding, abased, in other words, whether things are good or things are really bad, I can have joy. But contentment is a choice. Contentment is being in your situation and appreciating the situation that you're in, whether it's good or bad, knowing that you are here in this situation for a reason, and that it all is for your growth or development, or it can be if you choose for it to be. And contentment comes from gratitude. Now, I was going to say, forget writing down 3 to 5 things a day. And then a friend of mine wrote, I'm working on my gratitude list or my gratitude jar every day. So if that works for you, do that. Every day, think of 3 to 5 things that you're grateful for. It doesn't really work for me. Writing things down that you're grateful for and putting them in a jar, that's great if you go look at the jar at the end of the year. But I never look at it. I just was like, what is this stupid pieces of paper? And the writing 5 things every day at the end of the day, or the beginning of the day, that you're grateful for. You know, there's only so many ways you can write, I'm grateful for breathing when things are really, really in a bad state. So what I've come up with, what I do now is a little bit different, because I'm not just working on gratitude and contentment, I'm working on my character. And so some of the things just happened to me. Although I did post about the person, I got flipped off driving for the first time this week, 2 days ago, and I thought it was hilarious. And people were like, first time ever? And it's like, yeah, I only got my license right after Zoe was born, and she's 13 and a half. So, and then for years I avoided driving whenever humanly possible. I absolutely hate to drive, but except for my tried and true routes. So I think I was coming back from the gym, and I was really tired and sweaty and hungry and really wanted to get home. And the person in front of me had a red light with no one coming, so they could have made the turn. PA, that's legal. unless there's a sign that says it's not. And they just sat there, and then the light changed and turned green, and they still didn't go. And people were like jumping around in the back seat. And it's so, I literally let my like beep, beep, and we have like a low horn. My husband used to get, we used to have a mechanic friend, and we don't see a lot anymore, but he would get the mechanic friend to come over and put the super loud horn in. So we just have a normal, regular horn. And the passenger who, all I could really see was his arm, and I would age that arm at about 12 years old, put his finger out the window and flipped me the bird. And I was like, so I kind of yelled at them, but I was driving, and then I was thinking about this presentation because my example had to do with driving. And so contentment doesn't come from gratitude when things are good. When things are good, it's easy to be content. Contentment comes from gratitude when things are bad. So when I'm in the car and I've got that guy who just won't go or won't turn or flips me the bird in the rear view or out the window or whatever, that is the time to sit down and be grateful and be thankful. Because you can say, well, that's annoying, but I am grateful that I have a car, that my car is working, that I have arms and legs that are working, that I can drive, that my head is clear and my eyes are working so I can drive, that I have gas in the tank right now, or money to go buy gas and fill it up when I get there, that the car is working and functioning. You can literally do all those things to be grateful in the moment. It's a good thing to do when things are really going bad and you're looking at that gratitude list like, oh, but yeah, I'm grateful that, I don't know, I have a bed. And it feels meaningless when you say that. But then you go, okay, what is the situation, right? I don't have work right now and I don't have income, but I am grateful that I can work, that I'm able to work, that I have the internet connection where I can spend every day looking for a job. Where I can really use my talents. Maybe I can use my spare time to put up some more affiliate links on my blogs and promote things so that I can make some income off my blog, or maybe I can create a product in that free time or spin off a ebook off my blog or something. You can use that time, that those periods of pain and suffering to find gratitude in the current situation that is ugly and horrible and feels fruitless. I do this a lot with my daughter. Like I said, we are still struggling with things. It's been like 2 years that we've been struggling. And I now, whenever I'm doing the very unpleasant things that I have to do for her, I half the time, sometimes I'm used to it, so I'm kind of fine sometimes. But when I'm upset about doing certain chores, I then get into my gratitude mode and I think about, I'm grateful that she is the girl she is. I'm grateful that I was blessed with her. I'm grateful that she doesn't have life-threatening allergies or cancer. You know, there's a lot of people who their kids do have these conditions. I'm grateful that she has use of all her limbs and her eyes, and she doesn't have some kind of serious impairment to her physical health or her physical mobility. I'm grateful for that. These seem like little things, but in the moment that can really help you through a tough time. So that is where you get contentment. And if you are struggling with that, list 3 to 5 things every day, and you have written down every 62 different ways that you can say, I'm grateful I'm alive. Try this. Try in the moment of something really bad, what can you get out of that is not so bad? That's what I do. And I find it helpful for me. And then you can expand. You can, like when you see news that's really terrible about something, I don't know, some kind of terror attack in a foreign country, or girls getting kidnapped in another part of the world, then you can say, well, I'm grateful I live in a relatively safe country. And little things like that. Like when you start to see negativity coming off you out of TV and social media, you can be grateful If you're having a conflict with someone, say about, oh, I don't know, vaccines. I'm in a little conflict with someone right now about vaccines. You can say, I'm grateful that I know what I know. And I am grateful that I learned what I learned before it was too late, or whatever you feel about that situation. So have gratitude in the moment of something bad happening, and that little by little, bit by bit, will gradually bring you contentment. Okay, and so the third thing is, so be grateful and thankful in times of discontent, and then you will learn to be contented in any situation, abased or abounding. And then the last thing is happiness. Now, happiness is temporary, circumstance-based, but it also can be a choice. And I'm telling you this because this happened to me like a week and a half ago. I have been going crazy, going to the gym like a lot, so I can meet this crazy goal of 300 visits by the end of the month. And it's been challenging, and I'm not sleeping well, which has nothing to do with the gym. I've just not been sleeping well since I turned 50. But I was really wiped down on a Wednesday night about 2 weeks ago. And my daughter loves to play the Greatest Showman soundtrack, and she loves for me to get up and dance with her. And it's kind of grueling because basically dancing with her is she spins me around in a circle for each and every one of those 4-minute songs. And it gets very tiring. So I was I was lying on the bed, and I was on the couch in the living room. She's watching the movie, and she begged me to get up and dance with her, but I had nothing. I had nothing left. But so what does this have to do with happiness? Well, happiness, I was exhausted, but if I had not been that exhausted, I would have gotten up and danced with her. I was actually playing Cookie Jam on my phone at the time. And I do love my game playing time because it's how I unwind. But honestly, it is really fun to dance with Amelia. Like, it's a lot of fun. And so if I had any energy in my body, I would have chosen to put the phone down and dance with her, because that is choosing happiness, right? So that's a choice. When you're looking at your options for the day, you can choose happiness. You can choose to do the more fun thing and pay attention to your kids. Or sometimes I get, like, I love my kids, and I don't think I'm a bad mom, but I'm not a very, I've never really liked to play all that much. Like, I was the kid who wanted to be grown up at 12. When I was 12, I couldn't wait to be 18. Like, I'm the one who threw out my Barbie dolls. Like, I was, I am, like, I wanted to be more grown up. I don't have a great gift for playing. I suspect it's because I grew up with people who cheated a lot, and they know who they are. When we'd play games, they would cheat like crazy, and so I never won games, so I didn't like playing. But I don't choose, like, it was hard for me raising kids, and I would force myself to play with my children when they were toddlers because it was really boring for me, and it's not my jam. But I learned to, if Zoe is like, come mom, cuddle, I learned to cuddle. And then after a while, like 2 weeks ago, and then again last night, I know she's getting older. She's 13. She's like about 5 inches taller than me. But I would just go and cuddle with her, and go in her room and play with her and tickle her feet, and play a little funny, hide and seek under the blanket. Maybe you think she's too old for that, but she loves it. And it's fun time for her, and seeing her happy makes me happy. Whereas, I could have gone downstairs and said goodnight and shot off a fast prayer, or poured myself a glass of wine and put my feet up and watched TV, and that would have been comfortable and relaxing. But instead of comfort, I chose happiness. So happiness is, in certain situations, a choice. Now, of course, this is real life. Bad crap happens. And when bad crap happens, you have to grieve the bad crap that happens. So, for example, a lot of us who have kids with disabilities, especially severe disabilities, we have to grieve that. So let's, make sure that we are taking time to grieve when it's appropriate, when somebody dies, when, we get a bad diagnosis of something, we take our time to grieve. That's not going to take you a day. You can't be happy in that day, week, month, couple of months. But I think it's important to make sure that we don't over grieve, that we don't grieve so much that we've lost all our joy, that we've lost our ability to be happy, and we've lost our ability for contentedness. So that is my advice. What to do when you are discouraged, upset, sad. In the moment, choose contentedness when things are bad. And when you have the choice to do something comfortable or easy, or do something that'll make you happy or make someone else happy, because a lot of times happiness is really infectious, go choose the happy. And as you start to build on that over time, you will have more joy in your life. And I think, even though I said that for Christians, joy comes from faith, there's plenty of Christians who are miserable. Real deal Christians who are absolutely miserable. So working towards that joy in your life, that too, it's a choice. So that's it. That's the difference between happiness, joy, and contentment. If you have any questions, go ahead and shout them out. And the next thing we're going to do is going to do a really quick book review, because I'm on Be Live. So I thought it'd be a good time to do this review of a book that I recently got. This book, it's the second edition, Outsmarting Autism by Patricia Lemmer. Yeah, I'm all twisted with this reverse angle on Be Live. It kills me. Build healthy foundation for communication, socialization, and behavior for all ages. This is the absolute book. If you have just gotten a brand new diagnosis for your child of autism, this is the book that you need to get. This goes through absolutely everything. I'm going to share some of the chapters with you. It covers just the basics of autism and how it's related to toxic insult, reducing and how to reduce the toxins through lifestyle, things like diet, things like it goes into digestion, because obviously a lot of kids on the spectrum have gut issues, serious gut issues, like my kid. And this is why a lot of them are they're in diapers at an older age. They have severe constipation for years and years. They have explosive diarrhea at ages when it should long be done. They are no longer, they either regressed potty training, or you were never able to potty train them. So she goes into the gut issues, diet, immune system, healing, hormones. Big deal when your autistic child gets through puberty. Everything changes and resets. Detoxification, integration therapy, brain integration therapies, reflexes. There's a long chapter on dentistry, which is really important and really difficult to get appropriate dental care for a child on the spectrum, particularly if they're highly sensitive and you are concerned about anesthesia. I have an article about that on my blog, Autism and Anesthesia, if you want to look that up at embracingimperfect.com. Sensory processing, vision, but they even go through communication, play, assistive technology, and planning for the future, living, employment, and beyond. And then the final chapter is on preventing autism for those who are going to have babies or considering getting pregnant. So really good book, Outsmarting Autism, Patricia Lemmer. You can get it on Amazon, bnm.com. Comes in Kindle version too. It's definitely a helpful, wonderful book for someone who has a new parent who has a new diagnosis. So that's it for me. It is 2:25, and I hope you enjoyed this Facebook Live, and I hope to see you again soon. Again, I am Gina Badality at embracingimperfect.com, and I hope you can embrace this particular video and learn how to increase your contentment, increase your happiness, and get yourself on the road to having a life filled with joy. Thank you. And I hope you also embrace the imperfect within you today. Oh, and next week I'm going to present Friday at 2 o'clock. I'll be talking about how to make a decision tough for a person like me, tough for couples too. So we're going to talk about decision making and wise decision making next week. And I hope you have a great day. Thank you. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.